Before we begin, take a moment, breathe in, and imagine the sound of a single piano key echoing through a massive theater. Welcome back everyone. Today you're about to witness a moment that didn't just impress the judges, it stopped time itself. This is the unforgettable story of Shaquille Rayes and the audition that no one in the room was prepared for. The lights inside the Britain's Got Talent theater glow softly as the audience settles into their seats. There's a familiar buzz in the air, the kind that only exists when something big might happen, even if no one knows it yet. The judges take their places, smiles polite, expressions guarded. Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, arms crossed, eyes scanning the stage with a look that says he has seen everything before. After decades in the music industry, surprises don't come easily to him anymore. Then the announcer calls the next name. Shaquille Rayes. From the side of the stage, a young man steps forward. He walks calmly, not rushed, not nervous in an obvious way, but there's something quiet about him. No dramatic entrance, no flashy outfit, no attempt to grab attention. Just a simple presence, a soft smile, and a piano waiting at center stage. As Shaquille introduces himself, his voice is gentle, almost shy. He talks about his love for music, how the piano has always been his safe place, how singing helped him express emotions he could never explain with words. The audience listens politely. Simon nods slightly, but his face remains unreadable. He has heard thousands of stories like this. Dreams, passion, love for music. None of that guarantees magic. When asked what he'll be performing, Shaquille simply says he'll be playing piano and singing an original arrangement. No big claims. No hype. Simon raises an eyebrow. Original arrangements can be risky. Piano vocal performances have walked onto this stage countless times. Most are good. Very few are unforgettable. Simon gives a short nod. You can start when you're ready. Shaquille sits down at the piano. The theater grows quiet. Even the audience seems to sense that something delicate is about to unfold. His fingers hover above the keys for just a moment longer than expected. That pause feels heavy. Then, gently, the first note rings out. It's soft, simple, almost fragile. Some people in the audience shift in their seats. This isn't loud. This isn't dramatic. It's intimate. Simon tilts his head slightly, listening more closely now, though his arms remain crossed. The melody begins to grow, not in volume, but in emotion. Shaquille's fingers move with control and tenderness, as if the piano isn't an instrument, but an extension of his heartbeat. Then he begins to sing. And everything changes. His voice is rich, warm, and honest. There's no forcing, no showing off. Every word feels lived in. It's the kind of voice that doesn't ask for attention, but earns it anyway. Conversations in the audience stop. Phones lower. Eyes widen. Simon uncrosses his arms. The lyrics speak of struggle, hope, quiet resilience, and believing in yourself when the world doesn't notice. It's not just a song, it's a confession. Shaquille sings as if he's alone in the room, yet somehow speaking directly to every single person watching. The camera cuts to Simon. His expression has changed. The skepticism is gone. In its place is focus. Real focus. The kind that only appears when something genuine is happening. Simon Cowell has built his career discovering stars. He has heard raw talent and manufactured talent. He knows the difference instantly. And what he's hearing now is real. As the song builds, Shaquille's voice rises, not in volume, but in intensity. The piano follows him perfectly, swelling and pulling back like waves. There is control, but also freedom. Emotion without chaos. One audience member wipes away a tear. A judge leans forward. Simon doesn't move. He doesn't smile. He doesn't react dramatically. But his eyes don't leave Shaquille for even a second. This is the moment Simon lives for. Not the flashy acts. Not the gimmicks. The final chorus arrives, and Shaquille gives just a little more. Not too much. Just enough to let the room feel the weight of his journey. His voice cracks for a split second, not from weakness, but from truth. It makes the performance even stronger. The final note fades. Silence. For a heartbeat, no one claps. Not because they don't want to, but because they don't want to break the moment. Then the theater explodes. The audience leaps to their feet, applause crashing like thunder. Cheers fill the room. Shaquille looks up, stunned, hands still resting on the piano keys as if he can't believe what just happened. Simon stands. This alone sends another wave of excitement through the crowd. Simon Cowell doesn't stand often. When he does, it means something extraordinary just occurred. He claps slowly at first, then more firmly, a small smile forming. It's not exaggerated. It's sincere. When the judges finally speak, praise pours in. They talk about authenticity, emotion, artistry. But everyone is waiting for Simon. Simon leans forward toward the microphone. He pauses, choosing his words carefully. Shaquille, I'm going to be honest with you. When you walked out, I thought I knew exactly what was coming. Piano, vocal, another nice performance. But I was completely wrong. The audience cheers again. Simon continues. What you just did wasn't just singing. It was storytelling. You made us listen. And that is incredibly rare. Shaquille nods, overwhelmed. Simon adds, I work with singers every day. Technique can be taught. Emotion cannot. You have something special. And I don't say that lightly. The room erupts once more. For Shaquille, this isn't just approval. This is validation from a man known for brutal honesty. Simon isn't impressed easily, and when he is, it means the talent is undeniable. As the moment settles, Shaquille thanks the judges, his voice shaking slightly. You can see the relief, the joy, and the disbelief all mixed together. Simon watches him with a thoughtful expression. He's already imagining possibilities. Artists like Shaquille don't come along often. They remind Simon why he fell in love with music in the first place. When the votes are given, it's unanimous. Yes after yes after yes. The crowd celebrates, but the most powerful moment has already passed. It was the connection, the silence, the shared emotion. As Shaquille leaves the stage, Simon watches him go, nodding to himself. Another reminder that true talent doesn't shout. It speaks quietly, and when it does, the world listens. And that is why this audition will be remembered. Not because it was loud. Not because it was flashy. But because it was honest. Moments like this are why Britain's Got Talent continues to capture hearts. One piano. One voice. One chance. And a judge who thought he'd seen it all, proven wrong once again. If you felt that performance the way the audience did, then you already understand. Some auditions entertain, others inspire. This one did both. And somewhere in the audience, Simon Cowell smiled, reminded that even after all these years, music can still surprise him. After the applause finally settles and Shaquille disappears behind the curtain, something unusual happens at the judges' table. Simon Cowell doesn't immediately move on to the next act. He leans back in his chair, thoughtful, almost distant, as if replaying the performance in his mind. For someone who usually delivers quick judgments, this silence says more than words ever could. Backstage, Shaquille stands still for a moment, breathing heavily, his hands slightly shaking. The noise from the audience is still echoing through the walls, but it feels unreal, like it's happening to someone else. A few seconds ago, he was just another contestant waiting for a chance. Now, people are calling his name, smiling at him, congratulating him. He keeps saying thank you, but deep down, he's still processing it all. For Shaquille, this moment didn't come overnight. Music was never about fame for him. It was about survival. Long before he ever stepped onto this stage, the piano was where he learned to release pain, where he learned to speak without words. While others chased attention, he chased understanding. And that difference showed in every note he played. Back in the theater, Simon finally straightens up. He turns to the other judges and quietly admits something rare. That was one of those performances you can't plan for. You can't fake it. It either happens or it doesn't. Tonight, it happened. Simon has spent his entire life around performers. He's seen talent rise and disappear. He knows how pressure can crush even the most promising voices. What impressed him most about Shaquille wasn't just the voice or the piano skills. It was the restraint, the confidence to let silence breathe, the maturity to trust emotion instead of chasing applause. As the show continues, Simon finds himself distracted. Even while other acts perform, his mind keeps drifting back to that opening piano note, the way the room changed instantly. He knows moments like that are rare, and when they happen, they leave a mark. Later, cameras catch Simon backstage briefly crossing paths with Shaquille. There's no dramatic exchange, just a simple nod and a quiet smile. But for Shaquille, that moment feels just as powerful as the standing ovation. From a man known for saying exactly what he thinks, that silent approval means everything. As the episode airs, viewers at home feel it too. Social media lights up with reactions. People replay the performance again and again, sharing clips, commenting on how it gave them chills. Some say it reminded them why they love music. Others say it made them emotional without knowing why. That's the power of authenticity. It doesn't need explanation. Simon watches the performance again later, alone. He notices details others might miss. The slight tremble in Shaquille's voice. The way he leaned into the piano during the most emotional line. The courage it takes to be that vulnerable in front of millions. Simon knows that talent shows are full of noise. But every once in a while, someone cuts through it with truth. And that's when Simon realizes something important. Shaquille isn't just a contestant. He's an artist at the beginning of a journey. The kind of journey that can't be rushed or manufactured. It has to be protected. For Shaquille, life after the audition starts to change. Messages pour in from people who saw themselves in his story. People who felt unseen. People who once believed their quiet voice didn't matter. He reads every message carefully, humbled by the fact that his music reached beyond the stage. But despite all the attention, Shaquille stays grounded. He returns to the piano, just as he always has. Because that's where the truth lives. Not in the spotlight, but in the sound. Simon notices this too. In interviews, when asked about memorable auditions, he mentions Shaquille without hesitation. He talks about honesty. About the danger of overproduction. About why real emotion will always win over perfection. He says something that stays with viewers. The best artists don't try to impress you. They make you feel something. And once you feel it, you never forget it. As the competition moves forward, anticipation builds. People wonder what Shaquille will do next. Can he top that moment? Simon, however, understands something the audience is still learning. It's not about topping it. It's about staying true to it. Because careers aren't built on one big note. They're built on consistency, integrity, and heart. And in that audition, Shaquille proved he has all three. That night on Britain's Got Talent wasn't just another episode. It was a reminder. A reminder that quiet voices can be powerful. That simplicity can be extraordinary. And that even someone like Simon Cowell, who thought he had seen it all, can still be surprised by a piano, a voice, and a story told honestly. And somewhere between the silence of that first note and the roar of the final applause, a future began.